under the space being measured. Simulate. Are y'all ready? Fired up, man. I'd like to call the Blaine County Schools Tuesday, November 12th, 2024 regular board meeting to order. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here and thank you for supporting our students. And at this time, I'd like to call on Mr. McCoy to do the invocation. After that, some Bladenboro primary students will lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, it's once again that we find ourselves looking to the hills from which cometh our help. Realizing, Lord, that all of our help comes from thee. And Lord, we would be remiss tonight if we didn't acknowledge just how good you've been to each and every one of us. And for that reason, Lord, we say thank you. And Lord, you said in the word, where two or three are gathered in your name, that you will be in the midst. And tonight, Lord, we are standing on your promise. We will forever give you your name to praise. This is our prayer. Amen.
Amen.
Here in Benton Boomers tonight from Bladenboro Primary School, we have Mia Hester, Easton Singletary, Elena Campbell, Brantley Sykes, Lila Sykes, Treasure Wilson, and Olivia Ammons.
Pledge allegiance.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Y'all wait right
All right.
One, two, three.
Time we move on to number 4, adoption of the agenda. I entertain a motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
Make a motion. Second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that we approve tonight's agenda. Is there any discussion? Here's none. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Here's none. Motion to adopt tonight's agenda carries. Okay, we'll move to number 5, approve consent agenda. Entertain a motion to that effect.
I move that we approve the consent agenda. Second.
Moved and properly seconded that we approve tonight's consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Here's none. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. No opposition. Motion carries to approve tonight's consent agenda. At this time, we move to number 6, spotlights and recognition. Dr. Axel, I'll turn that over to you.
Thank you, Chair and Benton board members. This time I'd like to recognize our County Athletic Director, Coach Patty Evers, who will recognize some of our fall athletes who achieved some great spotlights and recognition.
First, we'd like to recognize from West Bladen High School, Southeastern Athletic Conference Cross Country Male Runner of the Year to Montre Love and Coach Brian McLean. From Glenboro Middle School, the boys and girls soccer program both went undefeated this year in the AA Waccamaw Conference. Girls is Laney Averon, Dalen Rivas Salas. Boys Dalton Emmons and Jeremiah Bryant. The other athletes are competing in sports today. And from Tor Hill School, we have the single A Waccamaw boys soccer champions and coach Brett Jackson, Alfredo Nunez, Derek Mendoza, Micaiah Richardson, Kenneth Rogers, Ulysses Hernandez Salazar, Wayel Salazar, Devion Whittington, and Coach Brett Jackson. Well, I want to get my man. Yeah.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
At this time, Chair Pittman, board members, I would like to ask Mr. William McCoy who would come forward, please. For this plaque is presented to you on behalf of Bladen County Schools and Board of Education, appreciation and recognition of your dedicated service to the staff, student, and families of Bladen County Schools. This day, November 2024, serving from 2013 to present. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Wow.
Chairman Benton, board members, that concludes our spotlights and recognitions for this evening.
Okay, we'll move to number 7, citizen participation.
We do have one, Mr. Donnell Goins. It says according to board policy 2310, the first part of at least one regular scheduled board meeting will be set aside for citizens to address the board. The public comment, each speaker will receive 3 minutes to present comments. However, the public comment session will not exceed 30 minutes total, except by majority vote of the board. During the public comment period, the board will recognize speakers in the order in which they have signed in. Substitute speakers will not be permitted, as speakers may not donate any portion of their time of the speaker. Board member will not respond to individuals who address the board except to request clarification of points made by the presenter.
Good evening, gentlemen. Tonight, I want to clarify my participation in these board meetings for the last 6, 7, 8 years. It's not the intent for me to be adversarial. I feel I have an expertise as a school counselor, and first of all, as a school teacher, as a school counselor, and 22 years of educational experience in public education to still be of assistance. So my attempt is to help, not hurt. Because what we saw earlier, those little children saying the pledge, that's what I'm about, and I'm sure that's what you're about. So it's not the throw blame or anything like that. It's the help. So with 7 failing schools, I'm offering some free help. So I'll keep coming back to avail myself because we are in a very esoteric position right now. So if I can be of assistance, Dr. A. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Goins.
That concludes our citizen participation for this evening.
All right, thank you, Mr. Goins. Okay, we'll move to number 8, information items, 8.01, Kids Heart Challenge. It's Michelle Fisher, Director.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you about a program that I have become very passionate about. I am Michelle Fisher. I'm a lifelong resident of Bladen County. And most recently, in the past 2 months, I took a position with the American Heart Association as the Kids Heart Challenge Director for Bladen County. I work with over 100 schools from Georgetown, South Carolina, all the way to Jacksonville, North Carolina. And so I want to share with you this very vital program that I feel like we need here in Bladen County schools. So Kids Heart Challenge is typically housed in the PE department. However, it doesn't have to be a PE teacher that is leading the program. It can be a school counselor. It can be an assistant principal. It can be a nurse. It can be the PTO. It can really be anyone that is willing to step up and help with the program. It is also typically a elementary and middle school program. So what is Kids Heart Challenge? Kids Heart Challenge teaches students and families overall health and well-being with an at-home portion that engages families to become a community of lifesavers. We want to ultimately turn bystanders into lifesavers. Right here in Bladen County and in other rural communities, we have a 30% higher risk of heart attack. We have a 40% higher risk of stroke, and there are many reasons for this, all of which my organization, the American Heart Association, works on every day, including, the reasons for these statistics are undiagnosed high blood pressure, also lack of access to care. And then we have my portion of the program where I'm teaching students or helping your PE teachers or whoever leads the program, helping to teach prevention and life-saving skills. There is an at-home piece, as I said, with Kids Heart Challenge, which students and their families watch a couple of short videos. These videos are vital because they are teaching students and families hands-only CPR, what to do in a cardiac emergency, signs of stroke, as well as how to care for their own heart and keep their own hearts healthy. I'll be totally transparent with you.
there is a fundraising portion to this, but it is a very small component of the program. As a matter of fact, of all the schools participating in our program, only 9 to 10% of a school's overall enrollment even fundraise, averaging to less than $5 a student. So again, it's a very small component of the program. Again, this program is vital to our community. And I would love for Bladen County Schools to jump on board with the other 100+ schools that are participating in coastal North Carolina and South Carolina. Just as we all learned when we were in school, what to do in case of a fire, stop, drop, and roll. We want students to know what to do in case of a cardiac emergency, whether it be their friend on the football field or whether it be a parent or grandparent at home. We want them to be able to step in and take action. So I hope you will consider approving this for Bladen County Schools. I have actually spoken with some of your principals and some of the families in Bladen County, and they've been very receptive to the program and have interest in being involved. But that is all dependent upon your approval. So I hope that you will take into consideration how vital this is to our community and approve it so Bladen County Schools can get started with teaching their students and families these life-saving skills. I want to thank Dr. Atkinson for allowing me to be here. Thank you for your time and attention. And like I said, I'm new. I don't have business cards yet. And but I am going to leave my contact information with Dr. Atkinson. And if you have any follow-up questions, please reach out to me. I'm thrilled to talk with you about Kids Heart Challenge. And I was looking at your sign up here that says producing responsible citizens by educating all students with global skills, including life-saving skills, are needed for the 21st century. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. We'll move on to 8.02, our final report from Tar Heel School Construction. Mr. Burris.
Good evening, Board Chair, members of the board, operators, and staff. Proud to be standing here today, presenting the final closeout document for the Tar Heel School project. This final report is a recap of the costs associated with the project, changes that we've had associated with the project, the credits that have come back to you as an owner for the project, and then kind of a balance with the county to see where we stand. To make sure that those funds that were allocated, not only the bond funds, but the matching funds, and how they've been appropriated back. Also, just to bring some updates of the latest activities that have taken place over the summer and this fall. So on the front of the document, the PDF. Got that. Completed the field house construction, and the pictures associated with that are of the field house. I do appreciate all the participation of the board members in making that a successful project and coming in under budget for the field house and yet providing a good program for the school there. Next page, you can see that the total contract value for Bordeaux and for the architects are listed in there. The Bordeaux contract was a reduction. They have given a total credit back of $605,000. See that lower down on the list. You'll see that there is also the overall budget. I've asked for and received the list of all of the expenditures from the county and their purchase orders. I've attempted to align those as best possible with this list that is here, but I'm off a few, and I will just need to clarify that with the last one there, but there's nothing elaborate there or different, I don't think. The list of the change orders is on the next page that we had. And again, those are some additions, and the negative ones are the credits back to you or the brackets that you see. So you can see we got not only your owner contractor contingency funds returned, there's some subcontractor funds that have been returned, and the credit back overall for the end of the project. Also note on there that let's see. You also notice that back at the summary page, the electric buses are still going through their process of getting the credits and costs associated with those spending. County addressing those. And then we had a remaining balance on our PM services too. We did not use all the hours that we had budgeted for it. And will not be charging the $74,000 for that services. And pictures of the inside of the field house. Again, I want to commend you on the actions that you've taken. It's rare that you get the chance to build a new school. It's a great opportunity and y'all have done it well. You've addressed it very well, I think. We're very fortunate to have Ben Broughton and I think Board of participating in that. Ben's excellent superintendent.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you, Mr. Purse, for that. 8.03, October financial summary, Ms. Harrison.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Chair and board members. I just wanted to give you a summary, and we'll try to do this for each month, based on the financials so that you can kind of see where we are. On this, you'll see each fund listed from state all the way down to other special revenue funds. We're working with about a right at $63 million budget as of right now. We've spent about 16 million in expenses so far, and you'll see our remaining is 46.6 right now, and that's all federal, all state, federal, local, your capital funds, your child nutrition funds, and your other special revenue. You'll notice in federal funds, you have a negative of 273,000 on your remaining budget, and that is because all of federal funds have not dropped yet. We're still waiting on federal funds. They told me today it may be the end of November before we get all our federal funds. So just kind of an idea of where we are and what we're looking at, and I'll be doing this for you monthly, so you'll kind of see where we are monthly with that.
Okay, thank you for that, Ms. Harrison.
You're welcome.
Okay, now we're moving to number 9, action items, 9.01, SRO funding and contracts for 24-25. Ms. Brown and Ms. Harrison.
Yes, sir. Okay, in board docs, you have the SRO contract for the 24-25 school year. There's been a little bit of concern with this contract, and so we wanted to discuss this with you tonight. Right now, as far as what normally takes place with the SRO contract, if you'll recall, a couple of years ago, the county told us that if we would pay for 6 SROs, they would pay for 6 SROs. They put that $500,000 in the budget to pay for their 6 SROs. We never got 12 SROs. We always were short. To begin with, let me backtrack. To begin with, we did have 12 SROs, but the way things happened, they quit, they went to other counties, things happened, and we did not continue to have 12 SROs. So what was done last year is they would put people in these SRO positions that were not certified SROs mainly. They were detectives or they were parole, the officers on the streets, things like that, that were being put in these positions. And then we were having to pay overtime for them, which was costing us a lot of money. Okay. Last year, we paid the county $815,000 for SROs. And we only received our 6, maybe 7 off and on last year. This year, right now, we only have 6 SROs. We do not have 12. In our allocation from the county this year, they did not put a separate line item of how much they were giving us for our SROs. They just said it was included. I have asked several times, and I also have another email by email, and they are just telling me that we just got our allotment. They're not breaking it down so that we can see how much they're giving us for our SROs.
And Ms. Harris, if I can interject too, and correct me if I'm wrong, the current expense number is exactly the same as it was last year, is that right?
Exactly.
So there's no increase at all given from fiscal year 23-24 to fiscal year 24-25. So there's been no additional money. And what we understand is there was a raise given to the sheriff's department, to the county. That's not been realized as well in there, so there's been no increase or additional salary and benefits that would be there as well.
Correct. So the contract that they have sent us, when I received this contract, was a little bit concerning to me, is for 12 SROs. Well, we only have 6. So, and they can't get more. So what they're doing again this year is they're putting detectives and they're putting other folks in these schools, which is wonderful, but we're having to pay overtime on them, which is an astronomical amount of money. Their contract this year is for $961,494. Bottom line is, if they give us 500,000, which I'm assuming that's what they gave us last year, so that's what they're giving us. Our SRO grant, we have not been approved for that yet. We have asked for the money. Last year it was $264,000. So together, that's $764,000. Their contract is for $961,000. That leaves us $197,000 in the hole. So
What's that number again?
197,000. It's actually 197,494.
Ms. Harris, if I can also interject too, on the school safety grant for SROs, what is required for that, you can only apply for those for K-8 schools. High schools are not included on that grant.
That's correct.
Also, there has to be a local match. All the state recognizes for an SRO salary is $44,000. We have to match $11,000 of local dollars for each one of those, even on the grant side. So it'll even be beyond the additional 6. You'd have $66,000 of matching funds to go to the 6 that would be awarded on the county. And even still, $44,000 doesn't meet the salary that's paid. I think with salary and benefits,
It's
average around
80,
80-something.
they're $80,124.50 per SRO.
So you're 36,000 short there again on that, even with the grant being in place.
80,124.50. You take the $961,494 and divide it by 12, that's what you get. So administratively, we have met about this, we have talked. We have pretty much 2 options that we're kind of looking at, that we kind of want to present to you to see how your feelings are on this and what you want us to do. We can either go to the county and ask for another approximately $200,000 is what it would be. Or we could keep the 6 SROs we have now, ask them not to put detectives in, and if we have emergencies, we would have to call 911, or the 6 could go back and forth. Like the one at Elizabethtown Primary, she goes back and forth between Elizabethtown Primary and Elizabethtown Middle. The one at Bladenburg goes back and forth between the 2 there. So, that's where we are with the SRO contract. We're approximately $200,000 short based on what we get from the grant, what their bill is, and we're not getting all 6 SROs. I mean, we're not getting all 12 SROs. We're only getting 6, and then we're getting these that we're having to pay this astronomical amount of overtime for, because those guys are working their normal 40 hours, and then they're being sent to the schools to cover the schools.
I don't understand why it's so hard to get clarity as to how the breakdown is from the county as to, I mean, you can't go into something not knowing exactly what you're receiving. And I mean, every financial is a line item. It breaks it down by, what you're spending here, what you're spending there. Also, what's so hard to get clarity about what's in the line items? I mean, we're emailing and we're talking, but, financially, there should be a line that says exponential amounts of money directed toward, because if I'm on an audit standpoint and I gotta go through an audit, then I can't just go off, we're just gonna give you a couple $100,000 and deal with however you want to. But at the end of the day, you gotta show where that ROI is, that return of investment is. My question is, why is it so hard? I understand we don't have a county manager, but somebody's running that program and we need to get some answers for them. We can go back to the county and ask for 200K, but we didn't get any money for any substitute teachers or anything the year before and the year before that. So trying to get $200,000 probably ain't gonna happen. So
Well, we didn't even get an increase
get it right.
in our allotment this year and our benefits.
So how are we gonna pay for something that they're supposed to help support, but they're asking us to pay overtime to these guys that, you know, A, B, and C, and are we even, you know, how do we validate that it's even taking place, you know, from that standpoint? So, you know, there needs to be some clarity from the county. It needs to be broken down. We need to understand, 'cause if we're asked for something, we have to define what that line item looks like on a financial. And it should be able to give us a clear explanation as to what it's going for. So, you know, Jason, Tim, that's contact whoever over there so we can get some clarity, because I can't go off of it. It's already in there.
When I asked the
Just saying.
question face to face,
Yes.
I did not email this time. I
Right.
was down there at the county and I asked the question. We were in a meeting actually with the sheriff and all, and I asked, their finance officer, could she give me a breakdown of, what each, because last year when we got our letter, it was broken down.
That's right. Sure.
And she said, I was told to give y'all exactly what I gave you last year. So our letter states the exact same amount of money. It's not broken down. It's just that same allotment that they gave us last year. So I've emailed and I got the same answer again. And I actually emailed again last Thursday to see if I'd get a different answer, because I said I am needing this for the board meeting on Monday night, because I know this, or Tuesday night, I know this is gonna come up, and I still haven't gotten a response.
Yeah, that's not good enough. I mean, you're doing all you can, but we're not getting,
Okay, I also understand that we're paying these officers. Are we paying 12 officers in June and July, or 6 officers in June and July when they're not even working?
We're paying the officers in.
They're out on the street working for the county, so we're paying them in June and July, and then when they do come to work for us, they're charging us overtime, but the overtime, they're not working overtime for us. Might be overtime, but not for us.
That's right. They're working for the sheriff's department, but we're paying the overtime piece because they're working the overtime with us.
sounds like we need.
And then we're also paying them in the summer, because when we questioned that, and that was several years ago, when I first came back, we were told that they couldn't just hire deputies for 10 months, that they would have to keep them employed 12 months.
Well, then we shouldn't have to pay them overtime. If we pay them
Not in
2
our
months.
buildings, the only time they're in our buildings in the summer, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Atkinson, is like if we have summer school or, you know, our reading camp that we have to have mandated, or, you know, something like that, they're in our buildings at that point, but they're not in our buildings any other time.
That's not altogether true, because as an SRO, when school is out, you are assigned to a road. You're assigned to the road. They attach every SRO to a road,
To the
to the
road,
road team.
right, they're not.
No matter what
working
road
for
team you
us.
go to, they don't work for us.
Mhm, right.
So we should be paying them.
But we do, we pay them for a 12-month, we pay them for a 12-month period.
We should not be paying them. We were already overpaid with what we got. And we're not getting what we're paying for. Period. I mean, if you go to the schools, you can't find them. Can't find them. I've been to 3, couldn't find the SRO. I had to go to the principal to find out what the SRO was.
And see, the problem too, and not just even on this, but when that budget, number one, I agree, it's not itemized, so it's just like lump sum. 2, you're giving the same dollar amount from the previous fiscal year. But already at the gate, we know health insurance went up and all, even for our local paid employees. We're not going to cheat our people who are paid out. It's not an employee's choice what fund they're paid for, local, state, federal. We give everybody the same thing. So we're already short there because those folks had to have an increase. So the budget was already short just on our employees. Then you're looking at if the sheriff's department received an increase, that was not realized even in this budget.
What was the increase that they received?
I don't know what their increase was. I do know that from last year to this year, according to our contracts, and according to what we paid last year versus this contract's $146,000
Difference.
increase,
And they won't give us a breakdown as to what that comes to?
$80,000 a person for 12.
And I guarantee you, not one officer over there is making $80,000 a year. not one.
So I guess we need some guidance on what you want us to do as far as, do we continue just the 6 and not use the guys that are getting overtime? Because that's killing us. I mean, that our budget is dwindling with that. Or do we go back to the county and we ask for more money to meet our need?
That's my core.
I think-
Go ahead, Mr. Gordon.
I want to hear your recommendation. What would you do?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, we had a big push, 2-3 years ago. In fact, it was at the end of the year, they did the matching funds to get us to the 12. That's what the county's intent was, the commissioners. It's hard, especially with all the school safety issues that are going on across the country. And, we're not immune to this. Thank the Lord, we have not had anything, that's been bad, but still, I mean, it could happen tomorrow. To me, I look at it as, my opinion, it's a public service. Our children need to be safe at school. They need to realize that we have that in place. Ideally, the county would realize that shortfall and they would fully fund it. Now, I think the other challenge is, I think they're having a difficult time recruiting officers. So they may still be having to reduce some folks filling in, although we know there's a certification for an SRO. But so the personnel side of it may not change immediately because they're still, I think, trying to recruit, but I think 6, 7. The charter school, Emerald has one officer already dedicated. We were the first ones to have a contract years ago before that change was made. But the concerns, we can ask for more money, which I mean, perfect world for peace, for families, for the community, for students, staff, is we need an SRO in every building. That was the intent 2 years ago when the county provided the first matching funds. Now the grant has changed slightly, but even in that, still, the statement has been made that we will have an officer in every building. That was what was promised, because y'all remember the first time it went on the ballot as a bond, 4-cent sales tax. It didn't pass. So then the commissioners took it up. That would have been June of 23, I believe. We went in May and went back again in June. When they adopted the budget, they added a separate action, I believe, like $325,000 to the district's budget earmarked for SROs. And we told them, because there was always a concern from years ago about, is the school system doing what the county earmarked the money for? And we ain't had that problem. We've been totally transparent. We told them this $325,000 will go directly to SRO pay. Well, since that time, we started for a while and they just dwindled off. So I think I think the desire is to have the officers in place. It's just, I think there's gonna be a period of time, they're gonna have to get folks in place and probably still having to do folks filling in. That's gonna eat up overtime. So in my mind, if you all direct us to go down and make the request for additional funds, I think it needs to be in there that we don't pay overtime from the school system.
Yeah, that's the first thing we need to
be that should not be our, I mean, I don't mean this in a negative way, but the challenge of personnel, school districts have it, sheriff's departments have it, businesses have it. That doesn't fall on the back of someone else. So if we have to have a substitute or someone to fill in, that's not the school system's fault. We should have to pay the burden of that overtime. That really should be the county. I mean, because if you had a contract before that said we'll do 12 then that service should be provided at that number. If we even had to do substitutes, we shouldn't have to pay a dime more beyond. I think Ms. Harrison, it kind of caught you off guard at the end of the year. We're trying to close out. We've now asked for monthly billing because that quarterly wasn't working. We need it monthly so we can keep a track of it. And already we saw that overtime creeping up already. So we know that we haven't engaged in any contract. Obviously, y'all had to do it because it's outside of the number that I can approve. But I mean, I would say the funding needs to be there. I think the commissioners need to know the shortfall is present. It's got to be there, but I think it needs to be, and this is y'all's is directed to me as the board. if you ask me to go down, Ms. Harrison and I, Ms. Brown, to make that request, and we also make a part of the request that we are not responsible for overtime pay if you do not have the 12 officers and have to substitute. Again, it's not, we're wanting to be team players, but we shouldn't bear the burden of a personnel issue that's not the school system's personnel issue, if that makes sense.
To me,
What I
it's
think
common,
we should do.
it's common sense,
Mhm.
because we got people that ain't in the schools to be there to support the safety of what's going on.
Mhm.
And you're right, the burden shouldn't fall on us, it needs to fall back on the county needs to step up.
There's another
Figure
option
it
that
out.
we probably entertain. I don't know how the board feels about it, but we'd have to talk to the Elizabethtown Police Chief. The schools within the city, we could actually try to get an SRO from Elizabethtown PD and put them in the school system, obviously send them to the same training and have them cover the schools within the city limits.
Right.
That would give us officers from that department that will work along with Layton County Sheriff's Office.
Right, I know Mr. Brown had spoken with
Not
Chief
that-
Michael, and they're having some staffing issues as well. Although they're willing to try to be in the schools as much as possible, and that was suggested. Also, Bladenboro City as well was no suggestion. But they're still struggling some with personnel, but they're willing, they both offered to help.
Well, I think we need to entertain that because, that's gonna help us with the budget tremendously. I think this contract here, when I read it, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't with it at all because it's too open and too broad. It doesn't explain anything. It doesn't tell us what we're getting for our money. It doesn't guarantee us anything as far as SROs at all.
It does guarantee.
We're gonna be paying a bunch of money, and trust me, 960.
I think we have no alternative but to go back to the commissioner.
So what I would suggest, and that's good, Mr. McCoy, is that we ask for the 200,000 and that we are not billed for any overtime pay. And that we will not pay anything above and beyond the contract amount with that additional $200,000 with the grant and what was already incurred.
I'm in agreement with that.
And I think we need to spell that out in the contract, because in the contract negotiation, we would have that option, I would say, to put all that in writing in this document as well.
So I would make a motion that we table this contract until we define exactly what we need and get what we need from them, both from the county and from the sheriff's department. And also entertain talking with the police departments and see what help we can get from them and what their cost is gonna be like. And then, once we got all the information together, we pretty much know where we are.
Right.
We can make a better decision.
I second that.
If we could add in that, y'all give me the authorization to approve.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
And add to what you said to that. motion.
Yeah.
I second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that we table the, on the contract. Is there any more discussion?
And add to that motion that we're gonna go before the county commission. That's part of the motion also.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just curious, is there an outside agency that we could bring?
So there's I don't know how that is. Moore County has their own police department as part of their school system. I'm not sure how they did that. And what that cost them. That's the only one I'm aware of because I've been at meetings and they have uniform officer in Moore County schools. I don't know of any public schools offhand that have a contract security service. Higher ed often does with some other things. I don't know what that would even cost, but they're again not even sure if they were BLET certified or have that same
So
certification.
many liabilities with that.
Right.
Way too many.
Mhm.
But in other counties, there's Robinson County, they use Red Springs covers their city schools and Lumberton covers their city schools. So it works.
Right.
It's been doing it for years.
I know Cumberland County.
I need to try it.
Cumberland County just switched over.
Yeah.
Fayetteville Hood Mills
Right.
Police Department doing
Because-
schools.
This right here,
That's not
ooh,
good.
that's a nightmare. That's an open check right there, what that is.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, likewise, is none, motion carries to table. We'll go to 9.02 plumbing replacement, West Bladen High, Mr. Benny Lennon.
back when with another headache. West Blade plumbing replacement issues. I got 2 quotes, I think, Dr. Axon will send them to you. What they had to do, they got about 90 foot underneath the school that they had to cut out and replumb. Dipping over the years where it's settled. It's 1/3 of their bathroom is not working. I have 2 quotes. That's a turnkey job. One is $6,686. And the other one is $116,186.
How much was the first one? I'm sorry.
686. So I'm asking permission to go ahead and move forward with it, so we can get their bathrooms back up.
Are these the only 2, Mr. Bennett, the only 2 estimates you got?
Cause it's like, they doing it in contracting out, but it's actually like 5 different companies, because they gotta come in, take the girls' bathroom on the bottom, out, Saul's bathroom, everything. The library, the classroom next to the library, turn it, from 90 foot.
Right.
And we got a contract company to come and cut it.
So it's been subcontracting part of it, the main contract is subcontracting parts of it.
Yes, sir.
Is that the way both of them are doing it?
So
Is that the way both of them are doing it?
doing it, that was the, contractors out of state, some of them that I talked to already told me that it's probably gonna be high, cause they gotta add in per diem, get working in here. I went with these 2,
Just a question, Benny, what's the length of time of service or like in business for these guys? I mean, like,
actually, they said they could come in and have it done in probably less than 3 weeks.
I got you.
In and out of there. They agreed to come in on the weekend, so it won't disturb school to do the cutting and getting all that out the way.
Right.
And actually, it'll just be the classroom that's right next to the library at West Blade.
Yeah.
That'll be the only class, but once they get it cut out, they can come in during school, just block that off, block that classroom out and actually get it done during school.
So are the maintenance personnel gonna be on board with this? I mean, you guys gonna
Be there.
allow them in the school, watch them, make sure all that stuff?
Yes, sir.
And they gonna take us through the safety, inspection process too?
That's everything.
I didn't see that on, that's why I'm there.
Yeah, it is. And I think both of them said they give a 3-year warranty.
3-year warranty.
No cost, but
We got all that in the right.
it will be when they sign that
I
contract.
appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and this is another example of, we've got 2 high school buildings that are 22 years old and already having problems. Mr. Lynn is also working on something for East Blaine. We'll probably have next month. They're having, some, issues with drainage as well there. These are a lot of costly repairs having to go back after, but there's no reason, there should not have been a reason why we're having this many problems with those buildings just being 22 years old.
any ideas of what type of pipes they use, Benny, when they built this school? You got any knowledge of that?
Most of them are PVC up under
Is
there.
it?
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
It's like they probably didn't, maybe they didn't put some type of rock bed or support, what's going, you know what I'm saying? You won't know
I
till
just
you get
think
it all
over
out.
the years, cause of what I can remember at West Blaine, they hauled dirt for all the summer.
Oh, yeah, I remember that
Just
song.
with all those bad hurricanes, all that water, it takes a.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So at this point in time, the bathrooms are, what's actually happening, the bathrooms are backing up?
They're backing up.
Or they backing them into other bathrooms?
Well, it's just those 2 on that one side.
Just that 2 on one side.
The other ones are fine. But they on a separate line, girls upstairs and girls downstairs, and then it cuts and goes towards the library. And then they hit the big 8-inch pipe.
Does it look like we might end up having some septic tank issues going forward?
It's not that, it's, we done ran the cameras down and you can
Okay.
actually see where it's dipped and it's just sitting that water in that dip. It's not, when they flush it, it don't go.
No idea what caused it.
It just dips.
Just
The dip is what.
Yeah, I'm saying what caused the,
It's settling over time,
Okay.
I guess, with the weight of the building.
One other challenge I want to share with Mr. Lynn as well, he shared with me, is that even these 2 buildings, a lot of the floor plans, schematics don't even match what's even in the building with electrical and plumbing. They've had to do a lot of chasing around to find things that they don't even match.
so the drawings don't match what we currently have?
So they had a time with, on this plumbing to get
We
that.
had to find that, run the camera, we thought it went straight.
We need to be in touch with them, we need to be in touch with the person who did the drawings on that.
They probably had-
That can get, that
Well,
can
the-
get real expensive.
If I
And while we're trying to
recall,
find something that we think is there and it's not there.
the two companies went bankrupt that were doing East and West Blake during the construction, so I'm not sure what the connection was on, but
Oh,
that was a time getting those. Now, I'll tell you, our Tar Heel construction project was very smooth compared to what the district had to go through, and I was in the classroom then, when East and West were constructed. It was,
So just a question, being any references from either one of these or something they've done? That
You know, yeah, actually, one of them gave me a quote, he just finished, like for primaries last week. That's one of the.
Which is at Weston, or is that,
With the cheaper price, Weston.
Weston? And I know we had issues over there,
And he actually-
Don, any issues over there now since they've done what they've done? No, sir, everything's working well.
Actually, he did that without really disturbing school.
Sure.
He tried to minimize it, but we don't have to take a day off or shut the school down.
So would it be best to go with him because we're familiar with him and the way he lays out? I mean, we're talking 10 grand difference in the price, but if he understands what we gotta,
Yes, sir.
Good.
My opinion, I think so.
go.
I'll make the motion that we approve. We proposed estimate for West Wayne High School, 106,686.
I second the motion.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Mr. Bean.
Did we vote on that motion?
Not yet. We've got,
Mr. Benny?
we got a motion.
Hold tight, bud.
We gonna be depending on you on this.
Be right.
That's a lot of cheddar.
We
Okay,
got a
we
motion on the
got a
second.
motion and a second.
Second the motion.
Any more discussion? There's none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed likewise. No opposition, motion carries.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ben.
Now we'll go to 9.03 fall 24 custom policy updates. Dr. Atkinson.
thank you, Chairman Benton, board members, you received, I had emailed these earlier as well. An extensive list, typically we get these in the fall and spring. This is the fall 2024 custom policy updates. It reflects anything that may change in legislation or any case law that would have come over the last 6 months. As outlined in our policy, we're gonna ask the board a recommendation that in accordance with policy is to place these on the table for review, and they'll come back at the December meeting for action.
Make a motion, we place the custom policy updates for review. Come back next board meeting.
Second.
Okay, been moved and properly seconded, any discussion? If none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Is done, motion carries. We'll move to 9.04 nomination for board vacancy from the Republican Party, Dr. Atkinson and Attorney Grady.
Thank you, Chairman Benton, board members. As you all know, Mr. Grady gave quite a bit of overview of what was required in terms of filling the seat that had been vacated by Mr. Keith Locklear. We did receive nomination from the Republican Party. And they are nominating Mr. Aaron Michael Russ from White Oak to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Locklear. And Mr. Grady, I will yield to you.
Well, I think it's appropriate for the board to simply, it's the Republican Party Executive Committee. And it's appropriate for the board to simply accept the nomination. I mean, the statute gives them the complete authority to make it.
What was that first name?
Aaron Michael Russ.
Aaron.
And that would go through November 30th of 2026.
Make a motion, we approve. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. We approve the nomination. Is there any discussion?
Do you got, how many of the board members actually know this individual? Do you
So
know?
he's a North Carolina Highway State, patrolman.
Okay.
Been on the force about 8 to 10 years. Heavily, involved in community, got kids in the school system.
Good.
Got, he has a
In the public schools.
public school, yes, sir. He's got a middle school son, and he's got a freshman, sophomore. Yeah, West Plain High School. Yes, sir.
I played ball with his daddy in high school and coached his son.
Yep.
That's even better.
So good people.
Okay. It's a pleasure to board.
How old is this gentleman? Anybody know?
He, is probably in his mid-30s. Yes, sir.
You say he with the high patrol now?
He is a state highway patrolman right now. Yes, sir.
The motion. Second. It's been moved.
Oh, I got a motion, okay. I haven't got a motion, so any more discussion?
Let me run these meetings, no high patrol. What happens when he gets moved to another county?
I guess we'll have to cross that bridge when we go there, but I
He
don't,
gets off that bridge, we
I
can
think
do this over and over and over.
he's been in
I'm not
Bladen.
against the young man,
Been in Bladen for
I'm.
pretty much his whole career.
But right now, he is in the county, Lake County.
And he resides in District 3, so that's one thing that was required as well. too.
Right, yes, sir.
Okay.
The Renegade, gets it,
Any more
if I did
discussion?
what needed to be done.
More discussion? All those in favor, let me know by saying aye. All opposed likewise?
Opposed?
Okay, there's one opposed. I think that's a pass though. Okay. This time, I'd like to entertain a motion, we go into closed session for the purpose of discussing personnel as per NCGS 143.3 to consult with an attorney if needed. As per NCGS 143.3 and to discuss student reassignment and student discipline as per the 1974 Family Rights and Property Act.
Chair, I move that we go in closed session.
Second, sir.
Okay, all those in favor?